Today, we have a team of the fastest players in the NFL versus a team of the strongest players in the NFL. The fastest team in the NFL will be the Miami Dolphins, since they are considered the fastest team in the NFL this season. And their roster will include the players with the highest speed rating at each position. As for the strongest players in the NFL, we will be using the Dallas Cowboys, and their roster will include players with the highest strength rating at each position. But to add a twist to this video, each team will be able to bring in 4 former NFL players, 2 on offense and 2 on defense. Both teams will compete in a collection of challenges in mini games, practice mode, franchise mode, and a Super Bowl matchup to decide the winner. Starting with the fastest quarterback in the NFL, we have Lamar Jackson coming in with 96 speed and 96 acceleration. Backing him up will be another quick quarterback in Justin Fields with his 93 speed. Moving on to the running back position, we are going to be using our first former NFL player, and that's going to be Bo Jackson, who is known for his elite speed. Backing him up will be rookie Devin Achane and Raheem Mostert. The fastest fullback in Madden currently is Andrew Beck with his 88 speed. Next up, we have the tight ends. At 91 speed, we have Kyle Pitts, and backing him up is going to be Taysom Hill with his 90 speed. We will get to the wide receivers very soon, but before we do that, let's take a look at the fastest O-line in the game. Teron Armstead at left tackle, Chris Paul and Kendrick Green at left guard, followed by Tyler Linderbaum at center, Sam Cosmi at right guard, and lastly, Lane Johnson at right tackle. Now, for the fastest wide receivers in the NFL, we have Tyreek Hill, who is a 99 speed. Another former NFL player in Bob Hayes will be wide receiver number 2 on the depth chart, and he was a former track athlete whose nickname was Bullet Bob because he won gold medals at the 1964 Summer Olympics. Jalen Waddle and Jameson Williams both have 98 speed, followed by Marquise Brown and Quez Watkins, coming in at 97 speed. As for the defense, Micah Parsons is the fastest edge rusher in the game at 92 speed, and alongside him will be Montez Sweat and rookie Myles Murphy. Unfortunately, our defensive tackle will be a 63 rated, and the next fastest defensive tackle is Ed Oliver at 83 speed. As for the linebackers, rookie Nolan Smith Jr. and Byron Young both have 92 speed, and they will be the starting outside linebackers, followed by Amari Barno, Jamin Davis, and Yasir Abdullah backing them up. Isaiah Simmons is the fastest middle linebacker in the NFL, and backing him up will be Owen Papple. And at safety, we have JT Woods coming in at 93 speed, and Daxton Hill also coming in at 93 speed. Our 2 former players on the defensive side of the ball will both be cornerbacks, and the first one is going to be Deion Primetime Sanders, who comes in at number 4 on the all-time fastest player list, followed by Darrell Green, who reportedly recorded a time of 4.09 at the Washington training camp back in 1986. Joining them will be 98 speed Tariq Woolen, 97 speed DJ Turner, and 95 speed Dante Jackson. Starting with the strongest wide receivers this time, we have Deebo Samuel coming in at wide receiver number 1 with his 80 strength. Joining him on the depth chart will be AJ Brown and DK Metcalf coming in with 79 strength, and then we have Mike Evans, who has 78 strength. Moving on to our first former offensive player, we have Vernon Davis at tight end number 1. Joining him will be George Kittle, who is the strongest tight end in Madden currently at 82 strength. We now need to add the strongest quarterback to our roster, and that's going to be Josh Allen, who has 80 strength. The next closest is Jalen Hurts, who will back him up at 76 strength. Next up is the offensive line. Trent Williams will be the left tackle with his 98 strength, and at left guard, we're bringing a former player, one of the strongest players of all time, in Larry Allen. Frank Ragnow comes in at 92 strength at center, followed by Zach Martin with his 97 strength at right guard, and DeJuan Jones at right tackle with 95 strength. The strongest fullback in the NFL is Patrick Ricard, and lucky for us, he's the second highest rated fullback in Madden this year. King Henry will be running back number 1, followed by Nick Chubb closely behind him, and then AJ Dillon will be running back number 3 for this team. Aaron Donald is currently the strongest player in the NFL right now, and he will be our starting right end. He is currently the only player in Madden 24 with 99 strength. Joining him on the defensive line will be Jeffrey Simmons with 97 strength, Vita Vea and rookie Jalen Carter at defensive tackle, and using another former NFL player, we have JJ Watt, and backing him up will be Kenny Clark. Moving on to the linebackers, we have another former NFL player, and that's going to be James Harrison. Joining him at the linebacker position is Bradley Chubb, coming in with 91 strength, Frank Clark with 88 strength, Khalil Mack with 87 strength, Jawan Bentley with his 86 strength, and Demario Davis with his 85 strength. As for the strong safeties, Jamal Adams leads the way with his 78 strength, followed by Derwin James. Blake Hooker and Miles Kilbrew will be the free safeties, but neither of them have 80 strength. Last up, we have the cornerbacks, and unfortunately, none of them really have a high strength rating, but we do have Tre'Davious White as cornerback number 1. Joining him on the depth chart is Marlon Humphrey, Steven Nelson, and Rasul Douglas. Let's start with the passing skeleton minigame, and whichever team has the most points will win this challenge. Starting with the team of the strongest NFL players, Josh Allen started off strong, finding AJ Brown over the middle for a huge gain. On the very next play, he was able to find Deebo Samuel in the end zone to get the multiplier up to 3. Kept that momentum going, and with 22 seconds to go, Josh Allen makes a costly mistake, throwing an interception in the end zone and ending the multiplier. He was still able to close out the passing skeleton minigame with a few good passes, and he ended up with a score of 6,781 points. Lamar Jackson and the team of the fastest NFL players are up next, and he started off with a pass to Jalen Waddle over the middle, and the fastest team made it look so easy, using their speed to get separation from the defenders, and the multiplier is up to 7 with 30 seconds left. On the very next play, Lamar Jackson finds Jalen Waddle, who beats his defender and uses his elite speed to get into the end zone. Just 400 points behind, Lamar goes to Tyreek Hill underneath to get the total to over 7,000 points, and they did not stop there. Tyreek Hill finding the end zone once again and achieving a gold medal. Unfortunately, Lamar throws an interception, bringing the multiplier to an end, but he was still able to break the record with 17,253 points. And the fastest team wins the first challenge of this competition. The next challenge is the punt return. The team of the fastest players will start first for this one, and Tyreek Hill was able to pick up 7 yards on attempt number 1. And he then followed that up by getting around a defender for a solid gain of 10 yards. On his third and final attempt, Tyreek Hill was able to pick up 14 yards for a grand total of 31 through 3 attempts. 2 more attempts left, and this time Deion Sanders gives it a try, and he is able to juke and pick up a solid 13 yards. On their last attempt, Deion tries to make a defender miss, but fails, picking up 10 yards for a grand total of 54 yards. Deebo Samuel is up first for the team of the strongest players in the NFL, and he only picks up 8 yards. On his next attempt, he doesn't do much better, only picking up 7 yards. On his last attempt, Deebo gets swallowed up immediately after picking up 9 yards for a total of 24 yards through the first 3 attempts. AJ Brown will take the last 2 attempts, and honestly it wasn't much better, picking up 6 yards and then followed that up with 10. The strongest team was able to tally up 40 yards, but it wasn't good enough to beat the fastest team's 54 yards. And now the team of the fastest players take a 2-challenge lead. Next up is the goal line phase challenge, where the 3 receivers on both teams go one-on-one with the team's best corner. Josh Allen and Deebo are up first, and he is able to fight his way into the end zone for the first touchdown. On attempt number 2 though, Josh Allen hits Deebo Samuel, but he couldn't come down with it as Deion does his job. AJ Brown is up next, and he goes up for it, but Deion is able to swat it away. On his second attempt, Allen completely overthrows Brown, and they still just have 1 touchdown. This is not looking good for the team of the strongest players. But DK Metcalf is up next, and he is able to beat Deion for the touchdown. And on their last attempt, Metcalf uses his height and strength to catch it over Deion, and the strongest team end up with 3 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson and the fastest team are up next, and on their first attempt, Lamar connects with Tyreek Hill, who easily scores. But on the very next play, Lamar throws it up to him, but he isn't able to hang on. Bob Hayes is next, but Marlon Humphrey was right there to bat it away. And although Hayes had the position, he failed to hold on to the ball. The fastest team need to get into the end zone on both these next 2 attempts, or they will lose this challenge. And on the next 2 attempts, Jalen Waddle fails to come down with the ball on both tries, and the team of the fastest players finished with just 1 touchdown. The team of the strongest players end up winning the goal line phase challenge with 3 touchdowns. Next up, we have the franchise challenge. Whichever team makes it the furthest will win this challenge. And after simming the rest of the season, the team of the strongest players finished with a 16-1 record, while the fastest team finished with a 15-2 record. Whichever team makes it deeper in the playoffs will win this challenge. Josh Allen ended up with 4,500 passing yards, 46 touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions this season, while Lamar Jackson had 3,900 passing yards, 46 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. Derrick Henry had a great season with just under 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns, but Bo Jackson led the entire NFL with 1,951 yards and 18 touchdowns. And as for Aaron Donald, he showed off his strength this season, going for 30 sacks, simming right to the Super Bowl, and let's see if either of the team is still in the hunt. And it looks like they both are. It all comes down to this one game. If the team of the strongest players lose, they will lose the entire competition, And after simming the Super Bowl, the team of the strongest players win this game by a close margin of just 3 points. The team of the strongest NFL players end up winning the franchise challenge as they won the Super Bowl, and now the competition is tied at 2. The final challenge is a Super Bowl matchup where we have Lamar Jackson leading the team of the fastest players going up against Josh Allen and the rest of the strongest players. Derrick Henry starts the opening drive with a huge gain on first down. After a few handoffs to Derrick Henry, Josh Allen tries for the end zone, but Byron Young swats it away. For some reason, they elect to go for it on 4th down, but Derrick Henry gets stopped. Lamar Jackson gets his first chance here on his own 1-yard line, and he hands off to Jackson, who picks up a few yards. But the drive quickly came to an end, and after a few big chunk plays, Josh Allen had his team in scoring range. He then finds Vernon Davis on a corner route for the first touchdown of the game. And just before halftime, Josh Allen finds a streaking DK Metcalf for 31 yards. Unfortunately, they end up closing out the drive with a field goal to take a 10-3 point lead heading into halftime. Lamar Jackson was doing it all in the second half, throwing some nice passes to using his legs to pick up big yardage. He was then able to find Jalen Waddle in the end zone to tie the game up. Faced with a big 3rd and 12, Josh Allen throws it over the middle to DK Metcalf, who takes it all the way for 6. Wow! DK Metcalf to the house. Not much time left, but Lamar is trying to work his way down the field, finding Taysom Hill in the end zone to tie the game. 1 minute to go. Josh Allen uses his legs to pick up the first down to get into field goal range. It all comes down to this one field goal. Joey Sly kicks it, and it's no good! We're going to overtime. Lamar Jackson fails to convert on 3rd and long, but Kami Fairbairn makes a 53-yard field goal. Josh Allen is now faced with a 4th down. He steps back and completely misses his receiver, and the team of the fastest NFL players win the Super Bowl, and more importantly, they win the entire competition by a score of 3 challenges to the strongest team's 2. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely click on this one. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and so do I. So yeah, go click it.